Hello there guys, and welcome to another one of my range tests. Today we will be testing the range of the Audi Q4 Sportback. Now I already tested the Audi Q4 in regular shape, but this time we're taking the Sportback out for a spin to see how they compare, because according to Audi this car is supposed to be more aerodynamic, so basically it should get you more range. Now there's a catch to my test though. The weather during my test with the Sportback will be a lot worse than it was when I tested the regular Q4. So I'm expecting this car to actually get worse numbers overall, but it's because of the weather, not because of the size. Furthermore, the car is riding right now on winter tires, so that's gonna play a role as well. Let's take a look at the car and then jump in for a moment. So, as you probably already know, the Q4 Sportback is basically the same car as the normal Q4. At least in terms of design, up front we have the exact same shapes. This car is fitted with the S-Line package, so it has a more aggressive design up front, but everything has been blocked out in order to make the car as aerodynamic as possible, except for the grills down at the bottom. Other than that, the car has been streamlined to be as efficient as possible and to cut through the air as good as possible. So as I said, we have winter tires on this car. They're 19-inch tires on 19-inch wheels. They are Pirelli Scorpion winter tires, if I'm not mistaken, and they will take away some of this car's range. But it's snowing out today, so that's probably going to be my least of the concerns about this car. Round the back, this is where the changes are actually noticeable. You can see the sloping roofline towards the back, and everything is more rounded off compared to the regular e-tron Q4. And we have the badge over here that tells you what kind of motors and battery you have under the sheet metal. To be more precise, we have two electric motors, one for each axle, and a total power output of up to 300 horsepower. On top of that, you have 460 Newton meters of torque, and because this is the 50 model, you only have one battery size in between the axles in the floor, and that is 77 kilowatt hours. Let's take a look at the interior. Really nicely done with Alcantara and leather. And let's hop in. According to Audi, this should return a range of about 420 kilometers with a single charge. Right now the car is charged up to 95%, and as you can see, the exterior temperature is 1.5 degrees Celsius. And the estimated range is 319 kilometers. What we'll do is reset the long-term memory and start driving this car around town to see what kind of energy consumption levels we get. As usual, I will be driving the car around town for 100 kilometers at least. And I'm going to be taking short breaks. I'm not going to be using eco mode. I'm not going to cut on any comfort creatures. I'm going to keep the AC on at 20 degrees and so on. I will be taking breaks, so I won't do these 100 kilometers in a single run, because that would take away from some of the accuracy of the car. Nobody does 100 kilometers around town in one full swing, because first of all, it takes about 5 hours to do that, and second of all, we're not all Uber drivers. So a normal person will drive for 10-20 kilometers, take a break, or I don't know, maybe get to the mall or something like that, let the car cool off, and so on. So I'm trying to replicate a normal driving scenario for this car. After that, we're gonna drive on a couple of B roads, and then we're gonna hop on the highway to see how this car does. Let's go. Okay guys, sorry for the jacket being on, but it's really cold outside, and that influenced my numbers during my inner city range test. It's quite interesting too, because last year I had the Q4 for a while as well, and I did a range test with it, and I can actually compare just how much more energy a car like this needs to get around during the cold season, or how less efficient it is during this time of year. So let's take a look at the numbers first. After covering 105.5 kilometers over the course of 4 hours, as you can see over here, the average energy consumption recorded was 26.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers covered. Well, let's round it off to 27. As you can see, we still have 56% of the battery left, and the temperature outside is really low. Right now it's 1.5 degrees, but last night it was really cold, with negative temperatures. If my math is right, at this kind of energy consumption, considering the battery has a net capacity of 76.6 kilowatt hours, this should allow you a range of about 285 kilometers. Let's round it up to 300 kilometers during winter time. I think that's a really good result. But as I said, last summer I had the Q4 non-Sportback version for testing purposes. It was the same 50 quattro version, so it had the same battery, the same electric motors, but the temperature was 25 degrees on average, 25 degrees Celsius, and we were running on summer tires. And that car recorded an inner city energy consumption of 18 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers covered. So that's 50% increase during winter time. That's a lot. So yeah, now you have a basic idea of what kind of range you can get with a Q4 in 2 seasons. That's quite nice. I'm gonna drop a link in the description section to my table with all the electric cars I tested, and you will find the Q4 50 in there as well, tested during the summertime. Now we're gonna head outside the city limits on a couple of B roads to see how this car does in that kind of a situation, and then we're gonna hop on the highway and get back to the city and see just what kind of energy consumption figures we get. Let's go. Okay guys, so we finished the B road range test and efficiency test. Let's see what kind of figures we got. So when I pulled off the road, the onboard computer was showing 21 kilowatt hours of energy for each 100 kilometers covered, and the average speed was 75 kilometers an hour. I covered 43.4 kilometers, and as you can see, the weather didn't go any better. I mean, it's still snowing and raining, and it's really cold. I didn't cut off on any creature comfort. 20 degrees Celsius for the whole duration of the trip. I kept the car in comfort mode, and this is what I got. According to my calculations, since the battery has a net capacity of 76.6 kilowatt hours, you could probably do about 365 kilometers at this pace, an average speed of 75 kilometers an hour. What's very interesting is that the delta between the cold weather testing and the warm weather testing still remains at 50%. So with the Q4 50 e-tron during the summer days at 25 degrees Celsius, my energy consumption was closer to 14 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers covered, not 21. So that's very interesting. Now we're gonna hop on the highway and see how we do over there. That's it, guys. We finished the highway section of this test. Let me show you the quick numbers real fast. So the average speed dropped down a bit. It was 130 kilometers, exactly 130 kilometers an hour when I pulled off the highway. We covered 56 kilometers, and the temperature, the exterior temperature, is still 2 degrees Celsius. So we got an average energy consumption of 30 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers covered. Mind you, as usual, I didn't turn off the AC. I didn't drive in eco mode. I only kept the car in comfort mode. According to my calculations, this means that the range you could get in these conditions on the highway would be 250 kilometers with a single charge, which is not as big of a difference compared to the other two sections I did in this video, but it's still quite a difference compared to normal weather, I mean warmer weather. That said, this has been my real life range test of the Audi Q4 e-tron Sportback 50 Quattro. That's a long name. I'm gonna drop the my table with all the energy consumption figures I got with these cars so far in the description. You will also find the results I got with the Q4 during summertime. That wasn't a Sportback version, but I think they're basically the same car. This one should be a bit more aerodynamic, but not by much. So you can actually compare just how much of a difference cold weather makes. Until next time, don't forget to like, share, and of course subscribe to keep this channel alive. And see you next time. Ciao.